Podcast 6 in a series of linked podcasts about the first stage of the German Revolution. In the previous podcast we reached a situation where the Kaiser has now abdicated and Prince Max has handed power over to Ebert as the leader of the largest party in the Reichstag. Ebert is desperately trying to take control over the increasingly radical mood on the streets and divert it towards a parliamentary route. Okay, so he's announced an intention to elect a constituent assembly, which will decide whether Germany becomes a republic or whether it stays as a monarchy. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to do the legal thing. Ebert is the leader of the majority socialists in the Reichstag. Unfortunately, his deputy Scheidemann overstepped the mark and has accidentally declared that Germany is a republic, which Ebert saw as an unconstitutional thing to say. But in a sense, what Scheidemann has done is he's added fuel to the increasingly radical mood on the streets that's now increasingly moving out of Ebert's control. And what Ebert is worried about is that mood on the streets is going to move away from parliamentary action towards revolution. And his big anxiety is that the Soviets, which have formed spontaneously, remember, workers' councils across Germany, are going to now start to make demands on him. Okay, now Ebert is absolutely clear in his belief. He believes power should lie with a legitimately elected Reichstag. In other words, a parliament that has been elected by all Germans. That's not just the workers, but also the middle classes and the upper classes. He believes all Germans have got a say, should have a say in the running of the country. Even though Ebert at heart is a socialist, he wants more power to be given to the workers. He does not believe that all power should be given to the workers. Now, the Soviets are increasingly taking that latter position. They're starting to say all power should be given to the workers, and that the middle and upper classes should not have any say in the running of the country. Now, that can be seen in a new group of people called the Revolutionary Shop Stewards, who were shop stewards are basically factory foremen on the shop floor of the factories, who are increasingly being vocal inside the Soviets and are speaking out and saying, actually, the Soviets should all link together and form a rival provisional government that will bypass Ebert's government. Ebert's government is a government that is accountable to the Reichstag, elected by all Germans. But what should actually now happen is that the Soviets should effectively form their own provisional government, and that is where power should lie. Now, Ebert, desperately anxious about this particular move, to try to sort of like win popular support back for what he wants, Ebert is thinking to himself, right, well, I've got to basically form a government. Who is going to sit in my government? So basically, rather than fill his own government purely with majority Social Democrats, that's the party he believes in, what he did, a sensible move, an astute, clever move, he offered the independent socialists, who are much more towards the extreme left, he offered the independent socialists seats in his newly appointed government. So what he's attempting to do, therefore, is all of the people on the streets of Germany, the workers who back the independent socialists, if the independent socialists join Ebert's government, then the independent socialists will be able to speak to the increasingly radical workers and say, no, you need to basically follow Ebert and follow Ebert's constitutional course of action, rather than give power to the Soviets. So it was an attempt to pull the workers back onto a parliamentary, not a revolutionary course. Okay, so that's the end of this podcast. That's podcast number 6. You now need to move on to podcast number 7. Thank you.